And, the one thing that we often get questions about, and Kathy asks the question about why I shouldn't focus on my HECS debt or HELP debt, even though, indexation last year was 7 point something percent. We think this year it's going to be 4 point something. And the reason we generally recommend to not worry about your HECS debt is that A, it's a green debt. B, you only have to make payments based on your income. So if you've got no income, you don't have to make payments, and it dies with you. So it's got a bit of built-in life insurance. So for all those reasons, even though at 7% indexation last year, that's a higher rate than you're probably paying on your home loan, that's very much a one-off. The average indexation over the last decade or so has been 2 to 3%. We'll get back to 4 point something this year and probably back to 3 point something next year. So I don't think that's something to worry about particularly. The one point where considering making additional payments to your HECS debt is where you can make a payment that fully gets rid of it, because that's the only way you can affect your cash flow. And in many occasions at this time with high interest rates, it can make sense to pay your HECS off, which allows you to borrow more for your home. Very much a trade-off between smaller deposit, bigger loan, smaller deposit, bigger borrowing capacity, and what we're seeing today with a typical HECS debt of $26,000, $27,000 for a average income earner earning $90,000, single income earner with $90,000 with no other debts apart from the HECS, with no other debts at all, probably can borrow $460,000, $470,000 to buy a home. With a HECS debt, that borrowing capacity drops to about $415,000. So taking $26,000 from your deposit, paying off your HECS, adds $50,000 to your borrowing capacity, meaning you have $25,000 more to spend on a property. Now, you're probably going to pay slightly higher mortgage insurance, but it's generally going to look better. But that's one that depends on your income, and it depends on your deposit, depends on where you're buying. And so that's one that your broker should work through with you before you buy.